The real reasons why men pull away after getting close. So you want to know why a guy might pull away after getting close with you. Maybe you've been seeing him for a while, and you thought things were getting serious, only to have him grow distant just when you thought you'd come even closer together. Maybe what you have between you is fresh, but you feel an intensely strong connection with him, or at least you thought you did. Seemingly out of nowhere it's like he's having second thoughts and growing distant. Maybe you thought you had something rock solid with him, only to have your dreams of a solid, lasting, amazing relationship seem like they're evaporating in front of your eyes. Whatever your situation, it felt like you two were getting close and now he's pulling away. What gives? Why is he pulling away? And most importantly, how should you get him back? Don't worry, I'm here to help. Here's why men pull away after getting close. If your man is pulling away after you two have gotten close, chances are that he's not actually pulling away from you specifically. It's more likely that he's dealing with something in his life that's dragging his attention and focus away from you, so to you it feels like he's emotionally withdrawing, and to him it feels like he's focusing on solving a problem. The best thing to do in this situation is always to play it cool and give him the chance to come back to you once he's solved what's bothering him. What to do if he's pulling away after you got close? I know it might feel like the sky is falling right now. It could feel like the rug is being swept out from underneath you. Everything you had with him is being called into question. Why is he pulling away? What did you do wrong? How do you get him back? Is he going to disappear forever? I have good news for you, 99% of the time, in this situation, you don't have to feel worried. I know it's natural to feel freaked out if he's withdrawing after getting close, it feels like everything you have with him is at risk. But in the real world, it's actually pretty normal for a guy to look for some space or distance in a relationship, especially right when things are getting serious. When things start to get serious in a relationship for the first time, a lot of guys start to feel worried that they're giving up their independence or their freedom. Many men feel anxiety and fear that they are locking themselves into something that they're not sure how it's going to turn out. They get worried that they might be making a mistake. So he has a ton of anxiety and worry boiling up inside him. What do most guys do? They look for space. When a guy has to address the anxiety in himself about losing his freedom to a budding serious relationship, he looks for perspective about the relationship by getting some distance to be able to see things clearly. He'll be consciously or unconsciously weighing the relationship in his head, and asking himself whether it's worth it, and whether he really thinks you might be the one for him. Again, I want to stress, this is totally normal. It happens to almost every guy when they're in a relationship. And I have good news. Most of the time if he gets the space he needs he will come back. He needs the space to calm down and calm his anxiety by getting some perspective and understanding of the relationship and of what he really wants. Only by getting that space does he prove that he can have the space he needs in the relationship, and when he realizes that he's happy to come back and re-engage. The trouble is that when he's taking some time and some space to figure out his true feelings, to the woman in the relationship it feels like he's pulling away, growing distant, and getting ready to leave her. And that is the source of 99% of the problems occur in this situation that actually make him pull away even more and maybe end the relationship. His whole goal at this point is to get perspective on the relationship. He's trying to decide in his head if the relationship is something positive in his life that brings him happiness, or if it's an obligation that brings negativity into his life. Do you see where I'm going with this? When a woman, totally understandably, gets anxious and upset when a guy pulls away to get space and perspective and channels or vents that anxiety on him, by chasing him, or blowing up his phone, or trying to pull him back, it makes the relationship feel more like a burden than a joy to him. It pushes him towards the exact answer you don't want him to reach when he's deciding what to do. Many women's natural reaction to a guy pulling away is actually the exact reaction that will make him pull away even more, and make it much more likely that he decides he doesn't want a serious relationship at all. The point is, when you freak out when he's pulling away, The dynamic of the relationship gets completely thrown off. Like I talked about earlier, when a guy pulls away when things are getting serious, he's trying to decide whether a more serious relationship with you is worth the loss of autonomy in his life. He's weighing how good the relationship makes him feel against the loss of freedom. So at this point, it's important that the relationship feels as good as possible. If the relationship suddenly takes a negative turn just as he's trying to figure out whether it's worth it, it makes him much more likely to decide that it isn't worth it after all. The easiest way to see how the dynamic of a relationship flips in this situation is to visualize it as fear of loss. Until he started pulling away, things were going really well with him. It felt good to be around him, you felt there might be a future with him and were looking forward to it. Spending time together felt good. You could relax around him, it felt like you were compatible, and trust and intimacy just kept growing between you. That's the kind of good relationship dynamic that causes a solid, happy, long-term relationship to grow. Both partners are happy to be there, and being around each other makes each feel happier, so the relationship continues to get stronger. However, when he pulls away to get perspective, that can get flipped on its head. Instead of feeling happy and relaxed when she's around him, she might start to feel like she's going to lose him. Her behavior switches from doing what feels natural and happy when she's with him to doing what she thinks will pull him back and make him come back to her. Now, everything she does is centered around a goal, getting him to stop pulling away. Spending time together doesn't feel as light, enjoyable, and relaxed as it used to. Now it feels to him like if he does or says the wrong thing he's going to upset her and bring in a ton of negativity. That is not a great dynamic for a relationship to grow out of. It's going to feel bad for him to be around, just like it will feel bad for you to feel out of control or like you are losing him. All that negativity will only reinforce his fears that the relationship isn't going to be worth it, and push him away. So, what should you do? It's very simple. Play it cool. If he's pulling away right when you were getting close, I know there's a strong instinct to feel freaked out and try to pull him back. Resist that instinct. Instead, play it cool. What he's telling you is that he needs some space and perspective to evaluate the relationship. The best possible thing you can do in that situation is give it to him. When he sees that you're still okay even if he pulls back from you, he'll realize that he doesn't have to worry about a lot of his fears about a long-term relationship. You'll be proving to him that he won't be responsible for your happiness and that the relationship won't be a burden on him, exactly the question he's trying to answer by getting space. So don't go chasing after him, don't freak out that he's pulling away, and don't try to pull him back to you. Instead, let him take the space he needs. He'll start to miss you more and more. Respect the fact that you're giving him the space he needs to get perspective, and the desire to come back to you will naturally grow inside him. That's the best possible thing you can do when a guy is withdrawing after getting close. Good luck! I hope this video helped you understand why men pull away after getting close with you. Before you decide what to do next, you need to know about the two pivotal moments in any relationship that determine if you get to live happily ever after or he leaves you, so pay attention to this next step because it's vitally important. At some point he starts to lose interest. He doesn't call you back or he becomes emotionally closed off. He seems like he's losing interest or pulling away. Do you know what to do? If not, you're putting your relationship and the future of your love life in great danger. Read this now or risk losing him forever. The second problem will undermine whatever relationship you have if it's allowed to fester and destroy your relationship from the inside, so read this right now or risk your relationship because at some point he will ask himself, is this the woman I should commit to for the long term? The answer to that will determine the fate of your relationship. Do you know how men determine if a woman is girlfriend material, the type of woman he commits himself to, or if he sees you as just a fling? If you want to know more about how to make your man commit to you, click the link provided in description and get your copy of the devotion system.